You don't want to touch those.
You just still see them?
They're moving, see?
No. Oh, the next picture.
Okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. This is Alone Together Pittsburgh. We've been streaming at you live since the shelter-in-place order came in back in March. My name is Patrick Jordan. I am your host for the evening. I want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes and mobile devices. This is kind of a crazy week for us. It's a crazy week for everybody for multiple reasons, obviously. I'm not going to get into all of those. We'll be here all night, and you've probably seen it on other news outlets that are actual legitimate news outlets. But this is our 30th week. We've been at this for 30 weeks. I think this is like episode 97. Dave, what episode number is this?
97. You got it. Bullseye. Can you
Boom.
believe it?
I can't believe it, and it's finally happening. What's up, Tara? How are you? Thank you for watching. We saw Puppers earlier there. Amanda Blair is with us tonight. Kieran, Amanda Blair, Kieran. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been every news cycle is like 50 news cycles, but a couple of things. If it's your first time watching the show, thank you for watching. A couple of pieces of housekeeping. Ticking below me on the screen right here is our Venmo account. If you have the means to kick in a couple of bucks, it's at Together PGH. We would really appreciate it. All the money that gets raised goes directly to the artists involved in the show on each night. So we would really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of donor fatigue going on. I know you're probably all getting hundreds of emails a day asking for money from different things. We're no different, but we're not asking for the big money. Anything counts. If you've got the big money, we'll take it, though. I mean, that would be a wonderful thing. We'll even talk about you on the show. You can even come on the show if you need to. So thank you. A couple other things that we do here. Allegheny County, we talk about the COVID numbers every night. Unfortunately, the numbers have kind of spiked up to 124 COVID cases in Allegheny County over the last 24 hours. Now, full disclosure, I feel like there's a lag in the testing because it was in the 40s yesterday and then 120s, but I think we're averaging out at like 80 or so a day, which is not horrible, but it's definitely not great. So if everybody could just get back to it, start wearing your keep wearing your mask when you go out, keep social distancing, don't be a jag. put on a mask. That would be the thing to do. One other thing before I talk about some other business here on the show. It is my niece and nephew's birthday. So Mac and Georgia Evans, they're 10 today. So happy birthday, guys. And you could probably want to stop watching the show now or in the next couple minutes, maybe in the next 30 seconds. But happy birthday, guys. So anyway, there's a couple other things we do on the show here on every night. But before I talk about that, I want to let you guys know to stick around. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you tonight. We got Chris Dose, Anti-Flag, is going to be here tonight. He's back. This is Chris Dose. He's come back. We kind of had to rush off the last time, so he's doing us a solid by coming back on for one more long-term interview. We've got Maranie Rae is going to be here. She's a fantastic photojournalist. You may have seen her on the show a few weeks ago. She was in Portland. Since then, she's been in Rochester, back to Portland. She's got stories, she's got pictures, and it's very important stuff that she's talking about. And it wouldn't be Thursday without WHT K8 with Kate Romane, and I feel like, having talked to her in the pre-show, I feel like Kate ate a lot this week. I feel like Kate ate out a lot. So there's definitely fun stuff to watch the whole show. But before we bring out our first guest, I had an outing today for the first time in a very, very long time. And we did a photo shoot for Table Magazine that's going to be coming out in their holiday issue. So thank you to Keith and Justin and Laura Petrilla and Brittany Spinelli for helping out. Laura did the photo shoot, and it was a Alone Together whole cast, kind of great little lineup, great little kind of thing. It was the first time we were all in the same place at one time. So Dave Mansueto was there, Pete Spender was there, I was there, Dave Bracey and Natalie Bensavenga and Kate Romane were there. So it was like the Alone Together Pittsburgh posse. Pete, Dave, I mean, how'd you feel about being out and also seeing us all in person for probably the first or third time in 6 months?
It was weird. It was definitely weird.
Good, Pete. I can always count on you for that color commentary. Dave?
You guys look good.
Awesome. So you all got the same feels that I felt. It was great.
It was odd. It was really odd because like Day and Natalie were there. Yeah, it was.
We were all socially distanced. It was all out there. We basically, everyone was wearing their masks for most of the time. Well, most of the people, and everybody we're the most kind of anal retentive, distancing people in the world. As you may have seen the show, we talk about it nonstop. But it was real. Oh, Amanda wants to know what everyone wore. I guess you're gonna have to pick up the holiday issue of Table Magazine to find out about that. But I will tell you, there are some surprises that you're not going to expect that come out of it. Namely, Pete Spenda got a little dressed up. He might have worn something around his neck. I'm not going to say what it was, but there might have been something around his neck. Anyway, that's real. So anyway, so that was it. So props to Table Magazine, and thank you for your support, and love your product. And so it was cool to see everybody out and to talk in person at a distance. And it felt like, I mean, it was weird, right? Because we've been seeing each other just about every day on FaceTimes, chats, the show, stuff like that. All our meetings are like that. And then all of a sudden, everybody was in
in person.
It was.
Day is much taller than I thought he was because I've never seen him in person.
Oh, you had never met Day before the show?
Not in person, no.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Day's tall.
I was excited to have Kate Romane's food. That was delicious.
I missed Kate's cooking. I missed it. So
I just took the whole day as an opportunity to enjoy the food. So,
oh, that's amazing.
I took some home with me.
All right, well, you took some home. That's good. So, all right. So that aside. All right, that was cool. So that happened. So check that out when it comes. We had a barn burner. We had to cap it at 8 o'clock. So the votes ended at 8 o'clock. And the votes kind of were crazy for the overnight poll. It was a big one. The Engine House 25 Winery, eh25.com, Jagoff poll. All right, so if it's your first time watching, we do an overnight poll. It's the Jagoff poll. It's been a bracket poll that started since March, okay? It was the March Madness ended, so we did a bracket poll. We did not realize it was going to keep going on this long. We started out with 64 Jagoffs in a positive term, and then we had another 64 in-show Jagoffs, and they all kind of did battle in-show to go on. So they're all now merging on into the Sweet 16. So the big names are dropping right now. It was a big one last night. Dave, tell him what it is. Tell him what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, overnight, your Jagoff was Rick SEBAK versus PHATMANDEE. The internet broke. My brain broke. Your brain broke. Pittsburgh broke. Pittsburgh burnt down overnight. The heat was incredible. The fire between these two. They duked it out to the very last minute, and I don't know what to say about this. There is nothing to say because one hero of mine is going to fall tonight, and it is up to Pittsburgh to decide. Is this fair? Does this make sense? Can we go on? Let's look at the poll results. Here they are. Coming up right now, PHATMANDEE 52%. Rick SEBAK has fallen 48%. PHATMANDEE moves on to the top of the heap in this Jagoff. This has to end.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming because I checked at 8 and it was the other way around. Wow. PHATMANDEE is going to move on, I guess. Pete, Dave, can I get a counsel?
I got no thumbs, man. I did not touch this one.
What happened? Like, because I thought, when did we cap the vote? I thought we capped the vote at 8. This is crazy. PHATMANDEE wins.
Yes.
Dave called it. He's the commandant. I guess PHATMANDEE is the winner. PHATMANDEE has slayed the dragon.
Well, so I guess, the loser has to leave Pittsburgh. So,
wow, Mandy,
Rick,
it's because of you that you have made Rick SEBAK leave Pittsburgh. Dave, what happened, Dave?
Pat, I don't know. The computer I asked for the printout. It gave me the printout, gave me the final results. I checked the polls. Maybe there's a little fraudulent voting going on.
Wow, okay. I hope it's not a precursor, but I tell you what, this is the one poll that I wish ended up a tie. But somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to win. And PHATMANDEE, the icon, the idol, the friend of the show, is going to move on. She's going to move on.
She took down all of WQED. Maybe she won people over.
She basically put it under. Okay. All right. So there it is. So that is something there. I mean, this is. I would have felt this way if it broke the other way. I would have felt this way. I feel all kinds of feelings. It's a shame. Look, here's the deal, folks. We put these polls together. There were hundreds of contestants, and then everyone keeps winning, and the cream keeps on. It's amazing. It's amazing, Mandy. I'm sorry. You're that voodoo that you do so well came out. So, but
Dave, do you have taps pulled up for Rick SEBAK?
So anyway, moving along, we've got something here.
In-show.
The Engine House, we have the in-show poll. Before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about Engine House 25 Winery. If you go to eh25.com, you'll find out all the information they have. They're located right there where the Strip District meets Lawrenceville, right in Doughboy Square. And if you call them up and you order some wine, you tell them that you found out about them through Alone Together Pittsburgh, you'll receive $5 off per bottle of wine. That's $5 off per bottle. eh25.com. They're also doing delivery during the pandemic for free, and they're doing curbside if you want to pick it up. Some of the best wine you're going to get. The grapes are from everywhere from Napa to Chile, everywhere in between. It's I put this wine up against anything. eh25.com. Look at those bottles. It's like each bottle's a work of art. So other than that, we've got a little thing called the Lil Jagoff, which is the in-show poll that only our live viewers tonight get to vote on, okay? So you guys voting right now, the people that are listening to the podcast, audio-only version tomorrow, not going to get it. People watching the show later, if you're on the West Coast or whatever and you want to catch it later, you don't get to vote. But who gets to vote right now, and what's it voting on? Dave, tell them.
Orange. First pumpkin. Do you like orange? Do you like pumpkin? Orange. It's round. It's orange. It's an orange. And it's versus pumpkins. Also orange, but don't be confused because a pumpkin's just a pumpkin. You got like a pumpkin on your outside stoop. Check it out. It's an orange versus a pumpkin. PHATMANDEE wins. The internet breaks. Orange. Pumpkin. Go.
That's a great intro.
He's real excited about this one.
I tell you, he was.
We're
Okay.
doing good. We're doing a good show tonight, folks. Boom.
I feel it. That's a good show. So get to vote. If you're from Pittsburgh, if you're not from Pittsburgh, you don't know. Which would you like better, orange or pumpkin? Orange or pumpkin? There you go. Get it going. There it is. It felt a lot better when Pete and I were talking about it before Dave came and just took a giant orange poop on it. But hey, get your votes in right now. Tell us what you think. And don't forget to hit this Venmo if you want to kick in a couple of bucks. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to the show. What do you say, Pete? You think? All right, great. So let's get to it. So our first guest, I told you at the beginning of the show, he was on the show once before. So this is his second time on. He's going to play some songs for us. We're going to talk a little bit. This is Chris Dose from Anti-Flag. And Chris Dose is what we're going to call this because we're that friggin' dad humor clever. Let's bring him out. Chris, are you there?
Yo, what's up?
I'm just shocked that PHATMANDEE came and just tromped all over Rick SEBAK at the last minute.
Yeah, it's a brave new world we're living in.
I don't.
Pumpkin Pete is showing his hand though with this handle on this orange versus pumpkin.
I'm gonna have to go with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's all voting is suspect at this point.
Especially ours, apparently.
Yeah, so, but I feel like Rick has done a good job on the show, but PHATMANDEE has been almost a cornerstone of your work over this
bedrock.
Yeah, and so I feel as if the universe spoke and shifted it the way it should be. No offense to SEBAK. If I see him, I want to take a picture with him. That's not going to change. But he can lose every once in a while.
Well, I think you're right. Well, here's something funny. Rick wasn't going to be in the poll. Okay, we had said early on we were going to keep like Fred Rogers out and Rick SEBAK out, right? Like the whole QED contingent. We were going to say look, it's not fair. We don't want to put people through it. We're not going to do this. And then we got hacked, you see. And then we had a hacker who was messing with us, and we decided the only way to flush the hacker was to have him go up against Rick SEBAK and see what would happen. And Rick ended up beating the hacker, right? And because the hacker was like, okay, it was Rick SEBAK. Okay, so that happened. So there was a whole thing, right? But then Rick got into the mix.
Yeah.
So he kind of went through like 4 different rounds of just knocking people down one by one. So tonight we also posted the poll late. So there's lots of different things, but I think Mandy was going to win this no matter what.
Well, I mean, again, like I said, I think that change is inevitable. It's a part.
She just said, I think some votes got dumped in the Mon.
Yeah, that's really good. But this is a process. This is part of life. And when you have 2 Goliaths living in this city the way we do, every once in a while they're going to run into each other, and one's got to emerge.
You got 2 bullies on the block, man. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think that we're probably not the first people to say that PHATMANDEE and Rick SEBAK are bullies. But that's the case. So anyway, man, how you doing? What has anything drastically changed? The last time you were on, we talked about the fact that, you went from touring from pretty much nonstop forever to a total kind of a standstill, kind of waiting for a couple of things to pop up. You were going to do some recording maybe, but you weren't sure what was going to happen. Has anything changed?
Yeah. So a lot of things have, much like the Mount Rushmore of Pittsburgh is changing, and, and someone went up there with a chisel and put PHATMANDEE's face over Rick SEBAK.
That's harsh.
We're experiencing change within ourselves, just in our knowledge and navigation of. Whoa, here it is. I
there
looked
you
at my life because I'm mirrored in the screen. I saw this.
I'm sorry.
But we're learning how to be better at surviving in a world where we don't see each other. So we dropped a film. That was part of the process because we wanted to be involved at least in some way of explaining the dangers of there's this thing that's happening in American politics where people have become so intrinsically tied to their vote that you feel as if it's the end of it. Like that's your activism. I voted and I'm done. But B, also, since I voted, I can't be hypercritical of what that politician does. Now I need to champion this politician as if they are some great thing. And so what the film kind of documents is really the story of our band and the activism that we've been a part of. And in that, there are tremendous amounts of failures. And so what we thought was, by putting this out before the election, you could show that every once in a while you will win, and that will be joyous. But more often than not, when you're trying to leave the world better than you found it, you're going to fail. And I think that is like a huge part of, again, going back through the history of the band with the movie, whenever we got to the re-election campaign of George W. Bush at the height of the Iraq War, people felt as if there was no way that guy would win again. There were, within our circles and our communities, there were people that were staunchly against the war, and 300,000 people in the streets of Pittsburgh protesting the war in the city of 350,000. You think it's a shoo-in, and then of course he wins again. And for a lot of people, that was the end of their activism because they dipped their toe in and they lost. And so what we wanted to show is that the arc of history is it's quite large, and so to do that work, it takes us pushing back on.
And what you said there, like, speaking truth to power doesn't just stop if your person wins.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So that's like a big part of the story of the band, and so we wanted to get it out before the election. And now with everybody being home, it seemed like a good time to get that done. So that's probably the biggest change from the last time I saw you, is that we've been working on that.
And so the film, the DVD release is
yeah, so the DVDs are being pre-ordered now. afrecords.com is the place to get those, and then I think it comes out on the 16th of October on streaming sites. I think it's like Vimeo and Amazon and YouTube and Apple TV and some other places like that where it'll be streaming.
Nice.
I
saw the trailer. It looks great.
Yeah, it's cool. It was the hardest thing we've ever done, simply because it would be awesome if like we were done. We were just telling them, but like
the band is done,
and then tomorrow it might be different, so it doesn't really have an ending. It's and also I just hate, every time we had to watch it and make edits and looking at ourselves on.
It's the worst. And then it's like, it's bad enough when I would assume that it's bad enough when you're writing a song and then you got to make some changes to that and you're kind of loving your song. But with a documentary, with a film or something like this, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about being on the other side of it. Being too truthful at times, or being not, like what gets cut, what doesn't, because you can't just go on for 4.5 hours like we're probably going to do tonight on this show. But no, I'm just kidding. But those guys let me stream a documentary when it aired live. There you go. So good on so many levels. Yeah, there you go.
It's and you're going to have Maranie on, and she can talk about she can speak to this pretty well as well, I assume, where when you're focused on creating art that is reflective of the fight against injustice, it never ends. And so when you do this thing like the film or band documentaries as a whole, typically are like homeboy's dead or homegirl's dead or whoever
Right.
is, here's their
Right.
story. And so the fact that we were doing it differently was a bit difficult.
Right. No, I mean, I can imagine. So what I'm, as far as like it never ends, right? I mean, so what would you say to the people who dipped their toe in '04 and failed? What would you say? What would be ways for them to get back in? Is it just marching? I mean, what are the
I think we're seeing that now, and I think that there was a great wave post the death of George Floyd, and you can even go back to 2014 and the death of Michael Brown and the real origins of the Black Lives Matter movement in America, where
the Women's March too was pretty big right after the last year.
Where it became a the idea of giving a fuck about more than just yourself kind of became the norm. And that's the way the pendulum tends to sway, where you have these waves of empathy come over people, and that's really how you do it. And what I've found is that those people that have their boots on the street and the people that are involved in the organization, the dissemination of information, the real work, those people they're not going anywhere. And whether or not it comes in and out of fashion is irrelevant to the work that they're doing. So I think that I don't know, it's different for everybody. Everybody's got to be involved to whatever their comfortability level is. But I certainly know that the people that have interacted with activism, and even if you're not in the streets or part of protest movements right now, I hope and I believe, and because I'm an eternal optimist, I think that empathy is carried with you into whatever you do post that. So while it might not be, and I guess what I was talking about mostly is like, if you remember back to 2004, it was, P. Diddy, vote or die, like the whole thing. And for a lot of those people, that was their first interaction with activism. And so when the voting didn't go their way, it was like, oh, we lost. And what the film is trying to say, and what I've taken a long time to get to,
it's okay.
It's not a loss. The losses aren't tangible like that, because people learned this behavior and then are carrying it with them further. And so you have people who get engaged in that process, but then, take small bits of it and become social workers, or become lawyers, or become, people that work within American justice systems, and carry that empathy into those places where it's been tremendously lacking. So I think that again, I'm consistently looking for the silver lining in these moments, but I do know that it's awesome when, Taylor Swift is making Joe Biden cookies. Like, I think that's
Whatever it takes, man. Like, I mean, I don't care. Like, if you've got the platform for it, I mean, how are those cookies? You know what I mean? I mean, we don't want to. I want to knock it, but I mean, Taylor Swift might make some good cookies.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like the story for me isn't Taylor Swift. The story for me is way down the line, the person that interacts with that photo of her making cookies and then becomes involved in political activism, or just frankly, lives a more just and kind life, because we are suffering from a tremendous lack of kindness in the world. And if the idea of what we do in our scene of punk rock is to be antithetical to the status quo, right now being kind is
That's punk rock.
Status quo. Yeah.
Being kind is punk rock at this point. It's like a whole different. Yeah. It's revolutionary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe we ended up here to that point right there. But that's where we are. What's that?
Yeah, unfortunately, the writing's been on the wall that we were going to end up here, and there's been a lot of people much smarter than the 4 people that are in Anti-Flag, also creating art and throwing up warning signs year after year, saying this is the path that we're headed on. But unfortunately, this is where we are right now.
Well, PHATMANDEE just said that she just pre-ordered the DVD and bought a T-shirt. So that's good. I mean, so you're a winner in more ways than one, because I heard Anti-Flag in the city paper, right? Just was in the best of issue for what was it for Legacy Band?
Legacy Band, yeah. I will say Justin, the other singer in Anti-Flag, is very excited about this. He loves that we won. He did the interview whenever they were like, "Who's going to talk about this?" It was like, "You do it." But yeah, I mean, I'm a tremendous supporter of the city paper. I think that they're invaluable to our community here, and
I'll agree with you. Their coverage of the protests in Pittsburgh over the last several months, but like just their coverage alone is second to none. Anybody in the city. They drove it home, and everything from the photographers over there, the writers, they got out there and did it. And
yeah. Speaking of which, like Jared, to be on the show with Maranie, but to have our photos for the city paper shot by Jared's
amazing.
Who's been, every time I've been to a protest in Pittsburgh, I've seen him over the last couple of years. So. He's a valuable asset they have there, and proud that he's from here.
Yeah, I am too. Thank you, Jared, for everything you're doing, man. That's awesome. So, speaking of wait, before we get to Maranie, we might want to play a song for us.
Oh yeah.
I totally forgot we were gonna get some music from Chris Dose here tonight.
I have to adjust my settings.
Go ahead, do your settings. I'll stop talking and I'll pass it off to you.
I learned from your high-tech backstage sound check that I need to change my settings. All right, cool. So I want to play this song. It's called "The Debate Is Over." Simply thought it was appropriate based on the fact that we have presidential debates happening and presidential debates possibly not happening. But also through those debates, there's a lot of talk about the existence of climate change, and the fact that we're still talking about this is pretty heartbreaking. So songs for everyone who's hoping to leave the planet better than they found it. For the first time in my life, I'm truly free to see the clear-cut forest for the poison sea. The waters occupy the shores of Jersey, and I feel alive. For the first time in my life, I'm truly free to see the waters persecuting New Orleans. 87 days of disregard on a live stream. Radiate into the deep sea. But don't let them tell you this is on your back. The point of contention is how they act. Where you draw the line will set you free. Alright. For the last time in our lives, we'll get to see sunsets reflect and shine off of the green sheet. There's too much to gain, let as they be. As the same who sell disease, they also sell greed. So just change the light you buy, or just change the car you drive. But don't change the makeup of their economy. But don't let them tell you this is on your back. The point of contention is how they act. Where you draw the line will set you free. Don't let them tell you this is on your back. The point of contention is how they act. Where you draw the line will set you free. The debate is the debate is the debate is all right. There he is.
All right, yeah. Swatch it back.
Swatching it back.
Have you ever heard that? That's a technical term. Swatch it back. That's the new stuff.
I learned about my echo cancellation and swatching today. So if nothing else, I've gained knowledge from being a part of the show.
Well, you learn and then you move on. Like you make mistakes and then you move on. You make mistakes like, deviating from the plan and, going on to other people's shows. And then you come back to where you belong, right?
I've gotten, I will say, in the pre-show soundtrack, I got a lot of flack for going on other live streams, and I'm just done doing it.
Okay, I mean, I'm just saying there's no need to go on another live stream. I mean, this goes to the entire internet, so you can just come on here. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go other places. It's fine.
Yeah, actually, next time someone's like, "Hey, can you do our show?" I'll just send them this replay.
Just send them the link. It'll be fine. And this will be good for at least another month. So you're good for a month. I mean, up until up till November 3rd, we're good. I mean, this is basically
all the talking points remain. Yeah, absolutely.
That's very nice. Well, I love that song, and it was fantastic. So thank you. So here's the deal. We've got Maranie that's going to come out. Do you want to stick around and hang out and talk to Maranie with me, or do you want to go get a drink or something, come back, whatever you like to do?
Just I don't want to monopolize her time, so bring her in and I'll just listen. I want to be
okay, great. Yeah, if you feel like chiming in. So everybody at home, Maranie Rae is a fantastic photojournalist who's been basically on the front lines of everything in Portland. She went to Rochester. She was there when things were going down there. She's been there documenting things and really, really kind of living through some kind of hell for it in a couple of different ways. But super, super proud and impressed with what she's doing. So I wanted to have her coming back in because all of a sudden, the Proud Boys came into light again, and Maranie has some insight and some fantastic photographs of them in action at times. So let's bring her out here without further ado from Portland, Oregon, Maranie Rae.
Hello.
Hey, Maranie, how you doing? Thanks for coming back.
Oh, my pleasure. I appreciate it. I'm doing well. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of end up being at either the right place at the wrong time or the wrong place at the right time, or I don't know where you are, but you always tend to be kind of in the middle of things.
Yeah, it's important to get close if you're going to make good pictures and be a witness to things. So I'm willingly in the middle of things.
So before we get into other things, we talked about last time you had been hit with a rubber bullet in your knee, and there was a lot of swelling. We had those pictures on there. We don't need to run them again. But so how have you been? How's everything been going from that reaction? And I know you had a little bit of a brush up that might have come from that knee.
Yeah, I'd been dealing with swelling and just discomfort, just toughing it out for a couple weeks after that. And then I went to Rochester, and RPD, or the Rochester police, similar to what's happening in Portland, they responded to peaceful protest with what they call less lethal munitions and tear gas. And I was in the front, and I got lit up with pepper bullets. And so the front of my body, my knee again was hit. and my knee started to bother me more. I went and got an x-ray, went and got seen, was told that, just, rest. So I sort of did that, sort of didn't, but I came out here last Wednesday, and Tuesday night felt totally fine. Come Wednesday morning when my flight was, I got on the plane and very quickly became very sick, and 7-hour plane ride from Pittsburgh to Portland. I stepped off the plane and told the person that picked me up that I just needed to go to take me to their house so I could sleep. And I'm very grateful that he's an MD. He's actually a 70-year-old man out here making pictures as well. But he took me directly to the emergency room, and I was in septic shock from an infection that somehow came from my knee. I have some hardware in there from a car accident years ago, and the way it was explained to me was trauma to it. Plus, they're saying that there might have been like some sort of like little cut in the skin, bacteria got in, but it was a combination. It started with a rubber bullet, then RPD, then just series of unfortunate events. So
Yeah, the less lethal munitions have, they don't seem that less lethal when you think of the fallout from them.
Yes, if you think about the terminology, that's pretty carefully worded. It's like these aren't
It's still lethal, but it's less lethal.
Yeah, it's their way of covering their butts. If it's my opinion, they're not meant to kill you, but they very well might. A lot of people have been hit in the head with them. I mean, several journalists, as well as protesters, have lost eyes to them. Not to mention after Rochester, my entire back was covered in just bruises from these things. So, I mean, I'm fine in that regard, but it's, if you think about that, these are the people that it's taxpayer funded abuse, paying for this.
And you're the press.
Well, yeah. So you have multiple layers. You have just citizens that are paying, like our taxes pay for these individuals to protect and serve us. And then historically, the press is supposed to be protected because we are witnesses. We are not participating. I don't carry a sign. I may have my own convictions, but my credibility is very important to me. So I'm press when I'm on the street, period. End of story. But my experience to date in Rochester and Portland is it does not matter.
Wow. So, I mean, you were here about a month or so ago. I don't know exactly how long ago it was. I mean, has the tone or anything, has the pitch of things changed at all since you were here last? Or is it basically the same kind of drive as was happening before?
The changes mainly come on the protesters' side. Well, that's not true. It's changed in both ways. People are tired. So there's been like this ebb. I've been back for about 10 days, and there was 120 some consecutive nights of protest in Portland, and then the fires came, and people doing direct action, which is like direct confrontation with the police, took a break so that they could go help people that were in the way of the fires. So that was the first time I noticed a break. And then there's been 3 or 4 nights where there's just not been anything since I've been here. And then the police, what I'm observing is, for example, 3 nights ago, there were literally 75 people on the sidewalk, 20 of which might have been press or live streamers, and 30 or 40 police and riot gear came out and just shut things down. They pulled people off the sidewalk and arrested them. And there was no escalation. There wasn't like a water bottle thrown. There wasn't like a dumpster set on fire. So it's almost, whereas back in July and August, you might have had like an hour or 2 or even 3 where there'd be like back and forth. There's an increased clampdown with what they quote tolerate, which is alarming for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely. That's what. And then another thing, Chris, did you want to add anything there?
Well, I just want to say, I mean, it's from Seattle '99 to now, the path has been, and this is where the conversations about defunding the police come from, is the fact that you have people who are coming to express their grief, to express their anger towards a system that's forgotten about them, and what they're met with is vastly invested in technologies to suppress that anger and frustration and all of those emotions. So it's not, unfortunately, it's not a new story. It just changes with their technology and what they're using to shut it down. And they're consistently on the look for these quote unquote less lethal weapons. And that's an entire economy in itself. And that's like another side of why I think what Maranie is doing is so important, is in documenting what the cops look like, because they're not just a guy in a blue shirt and a hat and a billy club swinging it around anymore. They are jackboot, like they're straight from war zones to the downtown of Portland, of Pittsburgh, of, you know, Ferguson, and it's Ferguson to Fallujah, you know, the comparability to it. And so I think that is the importance of the work that she's doing, is allowing people that are, you know,
Right.
A, if they want to be involved, that their activism is put forward in a different way. But B, if you're just a normie and you don't know what's going on,
Right.
it's not a Bobby you're running into. You're running into a soldier,
Right.
and
And
that should be very scary to all people
Yeah,
that
we've
live
got-
in quote unquote free society.
I think we'll pull up some footage in a little bit, Maranie, stuff that you've posted. Sorry about that. Yeah, and at times here, yeah. So it makes it scarier. That's on occasion there's like some civilian militia mixed in with it as well. But Maranie, speaking of that, the Proud Boys, you sent out an email and I saw it, and yeah, it really just kind of like shook me a little bit. I know the Proud Boys became to much more popularity since the first presidential debate, but I know you kind of saw them in action firsthand. If you want to speak to that, we've got a little bit of a slideshow that we can run here with some of the pictures that you took, that we can run along with this here.
Yeah, sure. So the timing of this was just fortuitous, if you want to use that word, with on the Saturday preceding the presidential debate, the Proud Boys, quote unquote, extra air quotes, came to Portland. They call themselves a Western, like, chauvinist group. They're trying to uphold what they consider Western ideals, but this other they're widely considered like an alt-white right group that condones violence, and so they
PBR.
and yeah.
I'm sorry. Go on.
No, you're fine. So they came to Portland, and what had originally been planned to be like this nationwide call, essentially a call to arms, because a Proud Boy was killed in Portland last month. It might have been in late August. I'd have to check the date. So it started as a nationwide call for people to come and have a rally. What ended up happening, though, was they changed the location. A counter protest that was originally going to happen in the same location was held about a mile away. So what it ended up being was, instead of like several thousand of these guys, like 200 or 300, 98% of them were like white men, and some women, and they prayed, and a bunch of people gave speeches, and that's kind of it. It was, honestly, in my mind, anticlimactic, at least in comparison to what we had seen the month before, where there was direct conflict. I'm being very careful not to like say how I actually feel about these guys.
Right. No, I understand. You're doing a wonderful job.
They're exercising. They were exercising their right to assemble.
Mhm.
What is noteworthy in my mind is that, so the Portland police were outside of, it was held at this park called Delta Park. So the Portland police were outside of Delta Park, just their presence, and these individuals were allowed to assemble. That same night, a protest, the protest against police brutality and for racial justice was held, and the Portland police came in hard and heavy And it's been almost like every time there is a demonstration, there are mass arrests. And
yeah. So I'm looking at these pictures, right? What was their reaction to the press, to you being there from this group versus people on the March, for Life?
well, so it kind of depends. I do my best to attempt to engage with people enough so that I can make pictures, because if you're not welcome into a space, you can't do your job.
Right.
So I'm not trying to be friends with anyone, but I am attempting to operate in a space where if they ask me who I am, I answer them. I don't act like I belong there, but I'm a member of the press. I'm here to document your rally. If they want to talk, I will talk to them. So there were several members of the press, and I think this got widely reported, that were kicked out. One member of the press was actually thrown to the ground and kicked in the head. I wasn't there for that, so I can't speak to it more widely. I did get into some discussions with individuals who wanted to know. I was called fake press. I was called Antifa press. My sense of normalcy has really shifted in the last 6 months. So I guess that is worth mentioning, but I kind of get that on the regular. But I did not run into any issues. I was confronted a few times, but I just talked my way out of any sort of escalation. So.
Right. Okay. And that. Go
sorry.
on, Chris. No, go. I'm good. Go ahead, Chris.
Because I think it is worth noting that I would argue that everybody who is on this camera right now or screen right now feels exactly the way you do, Maranie. Whereas I believe that these pieces of shit can get together and say whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. The issue for me right now is that there's somebody holding up what is widely known as a white supremacist symbol right next to a flag of the current U.S. president. And the fact that there isn't a fucking line drawn in the sand by those that are in power in this country and a real distancing of themselves from this. The fact that when you go, and I'll drop this reference because we're all familiar with Pittsburgh, when you go to Rogers, Ohio, you can buy your Nazi paraphernalia and a Trump flag right at the same goddamn place. Right. That should be enough for people. Yeah. Like that should be the line where you go like, okay, well, we wash our hands of this guy and we move on to the next thing. And that's kind of the most frustrating part about it. It's not about censorship.
That's something. Yeah, that's something new that we're dealing with now. And then you see the news that happened out of Michigan today with the governor. Yeah. So there was a plot to pretty realistic plot to try to kidnap and assassinate the governor and institute their own constitution for the state. So there's things that go far. I'm sure that everybody's not going that far. Hopefully not. But the fact that nobody is kind of denouncing and pushing back, which they did before. I don't know if that's. I mean, I don't know. Is it better to just know who you're dealing with, or is it worse if you want somebody to just bullshit and do it behind closed doors? I don't know.
Well, I think to Chris's point, it's not just, and to what you just said, it's not just that no one is denouncing it. It is the leader of, at least previously, the leader of the free world, the president of the United States of America, is condemning Antifa, which is anti-fascism, while upholding groups that are synonymous with white supremacy. So that is the example being set from the leader of this country. And so it's not just that you have plenty of people that are condemning the Proud Boys. Oh, yeah. But the president of the United States is, again, I just feel like saying it again, like he is condemning anti-fascism, people that are out there fighting against fascism, while saying, hey, stand back and stand by to these Proud Boys.
And his supporters are tweeting, Mussolini moment, bitches. And I'm like, guys.
And again, the thing I struggle with the most um, is not the extremist side of the right wing in America. It is your neighbor who still will put a Trump sign in their yard when that happens, because the lines between that Trump sign.
It's hard. I mean, we can go. I mean, it's. I'm scratching my head about it. I think everybody is, but there's also. I mean, this goes to the people are getting their news from different sources, right? And they're hearing things differently. And I try to see things through like my own lens. You know what I mean? But if you're only getting your news from one specific outlet, that ends in X, and it kind of can, if you do nothing but watch it, which a lot of people just have it on as the background noise in their house all day, you kind of get indoctrinated with that, and you think you're watching the news.
Yeah.
And go on, Maranie.
Part of being a citizen, like, you have a responsibility to become an informed citizen, and that means looking at more than one news source. There is a choice to just watch. I don't actually care whether it is just CNN or just Fox News or pick your whatever. You have to put in the time and energy to find out the truth. And I will make an argument for independent journalism because it helps that you guys know me, but I'm literally standing on the ground, and I'm doing my best not to editorialize. I'm just more like, hey, this happened. I saw it with my own eyes. These are my pictures. And it's not going through like 47 layers of whatever, and then a bunch of talking heads are then telling you how to feel about something.
And you're not funded by the same healthcare companies. You're not funded by the same oil companies. But I guess the issue isn't in the indoctrination of mass media. Again, it's about our ability to discern right from wrong. And
I hear you, man. Like when I talk to people who are very big into and they watch that same specific news out. They watch Fox, whatever, all day. So I don't know why I'm beating around the bush, but so they do that. And there was a conversation with them, and these are older people that are like acquaintances of acquaintances, and they said when the topic of COVID came up, and it was just like, wow, these numbers are huge, blah, 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 blah. I feel like this administration really dropped the ball in downplaying this and blah, 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 blah. But they have all the ventilators they need, don't they? They have got ventilators, and they're like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like because they have ventilators, that's what, it's just like, and that, if you go back, you watch the talking points from that network on that day, that's what they were talking about the night before, and people go out into that. I mean, there's lots to go there. We've got
it's about then the advocacy becomes, how do you mix your empathy with your vocation,
right.
And that is Maranie in the whole.
Right. We got a question here from Jared. Actually, Maranie, how do you see protesters in other cities enacting change aside from the direct action of protests? Are these folks getting involved in politics, getting seats on boards of companies who need diversity, etc.? Are any of these places reforming or defunding police or putting funds into biopic programs?
Yeah, and I know we're running out of time. It's a good question. Yeah. Also, shout out to Jared, because I know Chris gave one. Jared, you've been doing amazing work in Pittsburgh. You make me miss being back there, actually. So I think it depends. In Portland, I know there actually were some funds reallocated. It's not nearly the amount of defunding that most people are asking for, but they are being put back into the community. As you guys might know, that most cities have very specific demands that they're asking, like city council and the mayor to respond to, and or for the mayor to step down or the chief of police to stand down. Monday night, what is today? Monday night.
Thursday.
Is it okay? Register at most of these, at a lot of protests, the demonstrations rather, there will be someone there registering people to vote. Are you sure that and you can't make this up. On Monday night, the police came into the park and they were, quote, searching for weapons. And the only person they arrested was the person registering people to vote. The the video I have is pretty astonishing. They're literally taking the giant sign that he has, register to vote here, ripping it from his hands, pepper sprayed him in the face, threw him on the ground, handcuffed him. There's no hyperbole there. Anybody wants to see it, maybe I'll share it after this on my Instagram or whatever.
Okay, yeah, check out the Maranie's Instagram. It's on the screen right there. Go follow her right now.
So there are a lot of efforts being made. Some of the stuff that you've asked, though, that like directly getting involved in politics, like that is, I think that there are more, I think that that's a slower change. Like that's incremental. Like people are starting to wake up to the fact that like showing up every night to protest is a start. But you have to have like the ground game, and then you have to have like who are the people behind the closed doors doing the less sexy work, which is like who holds the power? And how can you get involved? How can you get into that space? The people on the street are making sure everyone does not forget that things are messed up. This is not okay. And then you have to have the people that are doing the other work. And it takes everyone. It takes everyone doing what they can, when they can, in the ways that they can. If we have any chance, of, I mean, I do not want, this is not okay. Where we are as a nation is not okay. I do not want my children, if I ever have them, and honestly, I don't want to be dealing with this shit in a few years. So we all have to be stepping up and figuring out how we can get involved.
Right, and that goes back to stuff that you were talking about before, Chris, about this thing, you know.
Yeah, I would just say that we are experiencing a cultural shift right now, and the growing pains are real, and that is a growing conscious of all people in the country. But also our immediacy lies in where we spend our money. So these people coming together that have never seen each other or never met each other before. And we saw it in Pittsburgh just the other night around the Breonna Taylor quote unquote verdict thing that came out, where people just came and they literally broke that protest down and they said, talk to someone you've never talked to before. And in that relationship building, you're able to see the immediacy of change you can build. And that's where you on your body. That's where you spend your money. That's how you interact with your local community. I think it's powerful when these people that are, real leaders of change get involved in the political process. But that is a much longer arc of historical change. And frankly, those that are on the front lines of this stuff, and Maranie, you can speak to it much more eloquently and better than I can, but these people are tired, and they've been demanding this justice for what feels like their entire fucking lives. And that pain it's heavy and a burden to carry. And,
you see there's the image that gets passed around. There's an 80-year-old woman with a sign that says, "I can't believe I still have to protest this shit."
Yeah.
We got a comment from Bob Mahoney in the crowd that I agree with. I hope you get into the challenge, an independent journalist that Maranie has, to support and fund her efforts. You need our support, Maranie. You have a Venmo that we've got up here. I would love it to. And thank you for your work. Courtney just came in and said that as well. A Venmo that we can get to you. We can put that up there. Is that the best way for people to kick in a couple bucks for you if they need to?
Yeah, I'm really bad at asking for that sort of thing. But
no, that's why I'm doing it for you. Just because, you deserve it, and I'm really bad at asking for money for me. So I'm going to try to be good for asking money for you. If you have the means, give this money to Maranie right now instead of kicking it into the show, because we're just going to give it to her anyway. But cut out the middleman and just go right to Maranie. Believe me, the work that you're doing and the fact that you're balanced at it and you're looking at it. I mean, just talking to you right now, you're coming at this from the right perspective and just looking for truth. So thank you for that.
I think that just to respond to that real quick, the people that I'm trying to speak to are not the people that already agree with me. It's the people that don't or are unsure and they're in that gray area. And in order to do that, it's really important just to present what I'm seeing, because there is a huge difference. It's astonishing what is being widely reported. Just take Portland for an example. if you turn on your TV, what you're seeing versus what I'm experiencing every night on the ground, it's not black and white, to use the appropriate metaphor. Like it's so my hope is, and like most independent journalists, we only have social media or word of mouth. So that's why I'm posting as much as I possibly can about, hey, this is what's happening. And I've gotten people that message me, they're just like, well, I had no idea. And I'm like, this is where I could condemn mainstream media. And like, I do have a lot of frustrations with that, but
your stuff comes across so clear, though. I mean, I follow you on all your social media and stuff. I mean, you're very talented in addition to being, just extraordinarily intelligent. But yeah, the stuff cuts through, and there was stuff that I got from your videos and the pictures that you posted that I did not realize the extent of things. And I watch stuff and I read stuff and I look at a lot of different feeds. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
With Maranie for a second here,
Please.
Because part of what has been so painful about the last 4 years is, and I know that this exists, especially in your work on the effects of war on people. We have been challenging for-profit media in this country, the push and the need for independent journalism. And then all of a sudden you get this president who says fake news, and they totally co-opt this argument about allowing truth to exist because the truth is unflattering to them. And there's been a lot of soul searching that's happened throughout this, where it used to be, hey, we can pull our resources together because fuck CNN, fuck news, da 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 da. But now, because they've drawn this line in the sand, you then get put into this encampment with conspiracy theorists and fake news touters, and it is a frustrating place to find ourselves in, because I truthfully believe it's the artist's responsibility to make the revolution irresistible, and that's why beautiful pictures are important. Nice songs are good, but then the work that comes from that is the real important part of it. So,
agree.
So
searching for that clarity has been difficult.
And just because I haven't said it yet, thank you for your work, Chris.
Yeah.
That song you played too, just I vacillate between like being furious and wanting to cry, and that song. And I imagine
that's the way we feel all the time.
it's just an average day here.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I'll agree with that. Maranie, I know you probably got other stuff to do here. If you want to hang out and talk about some takeout spots in Pittsburgh, stick around. But we would love to have you back anytime you want to come on, and basically anything. In addition to Venmo, how can people help you out in what you're doing?
I mean, the reason I'm here is to report, and so follow me on Instagram. I just started Twitter. Not really thrilled with Twitter, but putting stuff out there as much as I can. Yeah, it's kind of to Chris's point. I've had to respond to people. It's just like, just because you don't like the truth doesn't mean it's not what's happening. Just because it doesn't align with your viewpoints. But social media I'm almost strictly posting about where I am and what is happening on the ground. Might see a picture or two of my nephew because he's awesome. My favorite human being ever. But follow me on social media. I also have a newsletter I send out, which Patrick referenced. Yeah. It's kind of where I aggregate things, and then maybe. And
Maranie, if you ever want to, like, if something hits you and you want to come on the show, just let us know.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So it's a standing offer for you.
Appreciate that very much.
So thank you very much, and stay safe out there with what you're doing, because some of those videos, I don't like seeing you get knocked around. So just keep doing what you go ahead.
Yeah, you're doing the real fucking work, and we are proud of you and honored to call you a friend, and just stay safe. I think about you all the time. It breaks my heart, but I know what you're doing is so valuable. So thanks for it.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you. I'll let Chris have the last word on that one. Thanks, Maranie. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Chris. Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad we tag teamed that one, buddy.
Listen, I owe you.
right.
I owe you.
Well, I don't know, man. You might owe me more if I keep finding out of you doing other interviews with other people. I don't know about that. Before we bring out our next guest, who's been waiting patiently, I want to tell you about another one of our sponsors, Farm to Table. Pittsburgh. If you go to their website, they can take care of you. You can find out how to get everything from CSAs to where the farmers markets are going to be. Go to farmtotablepa.com. You keep it here, keep it local. You got a lot of stuff going on. You've got the Halloween's coming up. You want to know where you get your pumpkins? You get your pumpkins. You get your Halloween decorations. Farm to Table PA. Check it out. Dave Mansueto loves farmers markets. Just going to put that out there right now. Were you going to add something to Farm to Table?
You put an M in pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Oh, no. Thanks for bringing it back. Hey, Dave, how's the voting going, by the way, on the in-show little jag-off poll? Pumpkin versus orange. All right. It's 50. Orange is in the lead. Orange is in the lead. This isn't the biggest vote getter we've had on the in-show poll. We got lots more people watching than are voting. But I thank yous for who voted. But before we bring out our next guest, Kate Romane, I want to tell you one more about another sponsor, Red Start Roasters. You go to redstartroasters.com and use the coupon code TOGETHERPGH. You'll receive 10% off your order. Red Start Roasters is the only bird-friendly coffee roaster in the Pittsburgh area. They're so bird friendly, in fact, that you can get their coffee at the aviary. They also have a new brick and mortar building that you can go into in the East End. And Red Star Roasters is still doing free delivery inside the 412 during the pandemic. Go to redstartroasters.com. I believe Pete likes the espresso blend. Is that right, Pete? Pretty good. Good. I'm glad to think so. So without further ado here, this is a segment on the show, Chris, that we call What Kate Ate with Chef Kate Romane. So without further ado, let's bring her out here. I know she was eating at the beginning of this. I hope she wasn't drinking because she might not be there with us. There she is. Kate. Oh, no, you were drinking. Oh, Lord.
It's fine. I got this.
It's good. It's good. I like let's talk about food. So anyway, it seems like it was a big week for you. Like last week, you went to a lot of places. How many takeout spots did you hit this week?
I don't know.
All right, let's just start rattling them off as they came, and we'll count at the end.
Listen, I mean, coming after, how am I going to talk about fucking cheesesteak right now? I mean,
all right, okay. All right. Well, you're going to talk about cheesesteak right now. Let's do
all
this.
You're the work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much. What I'm trying to say. It's hard for me to just switch subjects. And
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Should I tell a bad joke? I'm not going to tell a bad joke, but I will tell everyone at home that if Chris is going to play another song on the other side of this, maybe.
Great. Good.
And so that's going to be happening. So we're parlaying. It's a big world. Also, it was nice to see you today in person from a distance. Oh my gosh,
it was so good to see you and Eileen and Pepper and everyone.
Yeah, that's right, folks. You just got a little tip. Eileen and Pepper might be involved in this photo shoot as well. I should have said that earlier. It's okay. That would be my wife and daughter. My daughter has not ever been on the show. Neither is my wife, for that matter. But you'll get to see what they look like in the holiday issue of Table Magazine.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So So let's talk about real quick before we talk about the takeout. This is how we're going to segue. What did you put on the pasta? Oh, there's a good segue. Snacks.
So I don't know. He's totally asleep on the couch behind me. So if you guys are hearing some weird sounds, it's him. He's just snoring. There he is. Right. What I ate this week? Okay, so I ate the hoagie last Friday. Did the Bitter Ends hoagie pickup. It was great. Lots of veggies, giant olives. The bread was amazing. Oh my goodness. Becca does a great job. What else? What else did I eat? Oh, I got Two Sisters Vietnamese, which
Do we,
I don't know
wait, do we have pictures of any of these things? Did anything come through?
if that end up happening.
Dave, do we have pictures?
The snaps.
We got lots of. I'm looking at a bunch of photos. I got to squint though to find that hogie. I'm looking for
Okay,
that
he's
hoagie
gonna find the
back
hoagie.
here.
It just
I
says
can-
meat. It might just say meat. I think I just sent the wrapper one.
Okay, I got that. Hang on.
The rapper one. Did you have a rap? Like I'm missing. I'm out of this. I was
No,
listening
no.
to Snack snore.
There it is.
Oh wow! Oh, there it is.
And she threw in a funnel cake. What? It was so good.
Well, at least we can see the food there. That's awesome. So that's a nice hoagie. All right,
Oh,
that's good.
Oh, damn.
Okay, that's delicious. That's so good. Okay, so did you feel safe getting the food there? Was everything?
I did. She has a window that you order online, walk up, pick it up. Gotta wear a mask. They hand you it right out the little window, right in Bloomfield, and you're on your way. And they're
Okay,
just so nice.
awesome, classy, ready to go. Do they do delivery or is it just takeout?
Just takeout.
Okay.
He's going on a vacation, so for the next couple of weeks, I think they're going to be down. But they do brunch or like breakfast and lunch, and then they do a Friday night dinner pickup. What's up?
I don't mean
Did
to
you hear
laugh.
that?
I'm just listening to Snacks snore.
I know.
Behind you. It's just like
Right.
it's like Sloth from the Goonies or something. All right, what do we got here?
So that was one of the sandwiches. This is a picture from her Instagram. She makes her own bread. It's super good.
Oh wow.
I think that's a breakfast sandwich. That might be like the fried green tomato thing.
Okay, look like onion rings, but fried green tomatoes. Okay, I'm into that. All right, so go on. Talk to me. What else you got?
So I ate a lot, but I didn't take all the pictures. So one place
Let's just talk through it.
Two Sisters. There's a picture, Dave, of just a bowl next to the fire. I was late to the party. I'm taking a picture. But anyway,
You don't get stuff like this on CNN. I'm telling you right now. This is the show that gets you right where it counts.
there we go.
There it is.
You should start taking pictures. Like you should switch your career because I mean your food photography is amazing.
So yeah, got a bunch of noodle bowls of soup. It was so good. The one thing was I was literally like, I was probably 4 blocks away, and I was trying to call in the order, and it was just busy the whole time, and you can't order online. So I ended up having, because I really wanted to try it. Everyone has told me it's so good. I hadn't made it in before COVID closed down.
Mhm.
Drove by, they totally have like a setup in there. I don't think they're doing any indoor dining, but I'm assuming that they're super busy because the food was so good.
Awesome.
And if you're a vegetarian, there's so much to eat. Lots of vegan stuff.
Chris, are you a vegetarian?
Vegan.
Vegan. There you go.
You should check it out. There's a lot of vegan options. So
I got foiled by the first sandwich that just said meat on it, so I'm excited about this.
Oh man, he just dropped the ball. He threw up his hands. He was like, "I'm out of here." Unplugged his guitar. He's like, "I'm gone." All right, so we're into the vegan friendly spots. Okay, Two Sisters. All right, we like it.
Yeah.
I'm liking what I'm hearing about that.
yeah, it was so good.
Okay.
And then one of the, oh, look at that guy.
There he is, awake. All right, so
Sounds are coming from him though. Similar sounds in that photo.
my goodness. All right, so that's a big dog. You can't tell in that picture. That is a large bulldog. All right,
It's a
so
big guy.
you went to two other places, I think.
Yeah, I got one of the best things I had was Sherry's birthday this week.
Okay.
So we got her a little Nutella cake from Casey Renee Confections. I don't know if you guys have gotten any of her stuff yet, but it is so good.
It's the best.
Oh my God, look at that. And she's making these tiny little cakes. Look at happy
She's
birthday,
making
Sherry.
little tiny cakes. She is ridiculously talented.
Yeah.
She is so good. I mean, she's James Beard nominated everything when she was at the Ace, but like we get all our stuff from there. Pepper's birthday cake was from Casey Renee. I get them for everybody in the family. Like she is literally like not just for special occasions. She can do anything you need. But her space is going to open soon, right? She's in the process.
Yeah, she'll be in Wilkinsburg on Wood Street, which I live in Wilkinsburg, and it's interesting watching the development that's happening over there. But Casey coming into the neighborhood is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm a big
So-
fan of Casey
Can I
Renee's.
go
Go
on
ahead,
a
Chris.
little sidebar here?
Sure.
So my mom is an Italian immigrant. She came to Pittsburgh when she was 13.
Oh, wow.
And when I was 8 or 9 years old, we went to Italy for the first time. And that was the first time I had Nutella. And
Oh.
I felt so cool because I had this thing that not everybody knew about. And it was also the best. And unfortunately, I can't eat Nutella now as a vegan, but
Oh.
my mom doesn't care. And when I turned like 30, she gave me one of these like Nutella jars that is like so massive, and I just had to give it away. But
Shoot, my mom doesn't care. I thought you were going to be like, she told me the cake didn't have Nutella, but it was all Nutella, and I just ate a piece. Because my grandmother did that. I had an Italian grandmother who, my grandfather was Syrian, and my grandmother made like these killer grape leaves because she got like the family recipe and everything. And my cousin was a vegan in the 80s, and it was like nobody knew what the hell a vegan was in the 80s. And my grandmother like made these grape leaves and swore that there was no meat in them. My cousin eats them, and she starts spitting everything out. And she was like, "There's meat in there." My grandma said, "What? It's lamb. That's not meat." You know what I mean? Like, it's not meat. It's ham. Like, what are you talking?
She would do that where she'd be making sauce, and it would have fucking huge ham bones in it and everything. And sauce. It's just sauce.
It's just for flavor. It's just
work that way.
Yeah, man. That's a generation gap right there.
The Nutella cake. I am so jealous of Nutella cake.
Yeah, Nutella cake. I didn't catch on to Nutella till what? Christ. I mean, I don't even know what year that would have been. I know Kobe Bryant liked it because he played in Italy, and that's how Nutella. He was the spokesman for Nutella, and I feel like that's around the time it came out. So that would have been 20 some odd years ago, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I went to Italy in 1990. When I was 9 years old, and they sold Nutella in these little glasses that when you wash them, they became your orange juice glasses. And I had a whole fucking set of them because I got so much Nutella. While I was
That's great. My set was like Steelers commemorative cups from McDonald's, but that's cool. Like you had like the nice little Nutella juice glasses, and I had like like Chuck Noll, Joe Green, you know what I mean, Jack Ham. But okay, so Kate, back to business. Where else did you go? You had the Casey Renee cake.
Yeah, and I got to go up to Churchy Farm is doing a picnic series this year in response to COVID, which has been really great. Feels super safe, and a great way to switch it up, and a great way to get outside and be close to the city, but at a farm. And Casa Brazil was there, and if you have not had Kayla's food, it is so good.
All right, what'd you have?
I ended up not seeing the menu.
Okay, I understand.
So,
I understand.
And I was kind of eating in the dark, but I know it was
I
like
understand.
it was. It was real good.
You're very good at what you do.
You know.
I'm sorry. Look, the show ran over. We're talking here. Okay, so I think you had one other stop. SPAC.
Oh, it's back. Well, that's like right now.
I know it's right now, so that counts. It's so. What are you eating right now? Okay, I'd like a full dissertation while that bite is in your mouth.
Seitan hoagie.
Seitan hoagie. All right. Oh gosh.
Oh man.
this is harsh.
That's rough.
It was a seesaw voting, and Dave's the commandant. He says when it goes. But I think Chris chimed it up best for things. It was Mandy's time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Also, like, there was no way there wasn't going to be heartbreak tonight.
Yeah, there was no way. Although Mandy does say that she voted for Rick.
Well.
I believe her. I believe her. I believe Fat Mandy. Fat Mandy goes on to the next round. She might be on a collision course for either Sally Wiggin or Kurt Angle. And I got to tell you, because she happens to be in like the more people bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's other stuff, you know, I mean, there's like a parking chair in one. There's like other things in different categories. But yeah, I think when you were here last, it was Kennywood's Open.
Kennywood's Open.
I think that was
So
that
funny thing.
was good.
Yeah, because it's my pinnacle Pittsburghese that comes out is Kennywood's Open, and I say it to people who don't know because I'll be in another country and their fly will be down, and I can't help myself but say Kennywood's Open.
Well, we got a question from the booth. Who's the scrappier fighter, Sally Wiggins? It's Wiggin, or Kurt Angle. I don't know why we keep still adding the S to this because it's Pittsburgh. We should probably just do Sally Wiggin versus Sally Wiggins as the next poll and see who wins.
I'm gonna throw a little fun fact at you.
Please.
Anti-Flag appears in a Kurt Angle horror film.
Oh
that
God.
And our portion of it was filmed at the 31st Street Pub.
Which horror film?
I don't. It's got death in the name. Death above, death from below.
All right. That's Dave Mansueto, who's clean shaven now and about 20 or 30 pounds lighter, standing next to Kurt Angle. Dave, are you standing next to? Are you on a box or something, Dave, in that picture next to Kurt Angle? Because you seem to be big. You seem to be taller than one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen in my life.
What happens between me and Kurt Angle stays with Kurt Angle.
All right.
Short. I thought he was short.
Is he short? I mean, he's a big boy. I mean, I've met him a couple of times, and he's about
the same size as Snacks the dog.
That's a big
Same
guy.
physique as well.
Well, most wrestlers have that compact.
Yeah. Full disclosure, in the film, I've never watched the Kurt Angle movie, so I don't know. But I remember filming our scene, and apparently he had just murdered someone in the backstage, and then
in the movie,
yeah. And he comes out and interrupts the show, and our role was to look shocked when he did that. And then he holds up his bloody knife and he goes, "Ah!" And then we just go back into the show, and he crowd surfs away.
So obviously this was an Academy Award nominated film.
Oh yeah.
Jennifer Gaskin Snot says what's up, and she also says that she dreams of the seitan cheesesteak and add vegan buffalo sauce from SEBAK Brothers.
Miss you, Snot.
All right.
Great.
So you are all set. You are all fed. That is great.
Yeah.
Is this the movie? This is the movie. I think this is the movie.
God.
But this is the trailer from the movie. This is the trailer. I know the guys that made this. What's the name of this movie? Is this River of Darkness? Oh my God, I was supposed to be in that movie. Oh my God, that was supposed to be me. Check this out, okay? I was supposed to be in this. That's Bingo right there. That's Bingo O'Malley. Okay, so I was supposed to be in this movie, and I was supposed to get killed in the water by I think two ex-wrestlers, Kevin Nash and Psycho Sid Justice. Were supposed to kill me in the water, and the night before, there they are. The guy, a guy that worked on the movie was like, "Do not come here." And they're like, why? They're like, they are running extension cords through the river in the water, and you're going to be standing in there getting your ass kicked by these wrestlers, and they do not hold back. So you're either going to get electrocuted or get your fucking neck broken. That was Sam Nicotero. I was supposed to be in this movie. This is so funny. I kind of wish I was now. No, so what ended up happening was I was still going to do it, but they ended up moving the shoot date to a day that I couldn't do it. This is the movie I was supposed to be in. That is crazy. You were in it. I got to make a movie and put you guys in it that might be a little bit shade less dark. But I tell you what, claim to fame. I tell you right now, you can just this is it. This is headstone material. River of Darkness, Chris Dose, Chris number 2, who's nailed it. But anyway, all right, that's awesome. So Kate,
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you any longer. Are you set for next week?
I think so. We might do some heart healthy eating next week, I think.
Okay. All right. That's good. Please, before you do, please hit me up because I have something to give you before you start going out to these places.
Okay.
Okay. Great. And it doesn't necessarily have to be these headphones that I've been holding for you because you don't really need those anymore. All right, Kate. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Tune in a week from tonight for What Kate Ate. It'll be coming at you before 9 o'clock this time.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
You've I feel you've redeemed yourself. I feel like you've put in the time. Before you play another song for us, I want Dave Mansueto to pop in and tell us who won the Yinzer off of Orange versus Pumpkin.
Well, I know who you're voting for, Patrick Jordan. You wear it on your sleeve. Your heart's on your sleeve, and it's not an orange. It's a pumpkin. You got a pumpkin on your sleeve. Sally Wiggins, she likes a pumpkin too. She wrote in, she was like, hey, you tell Patrick, it's Wiggins. First off, it's Wiggins. Get that right. And then vote for pumpkins because they're the best because it's Halloween. It's real scary. Okay?
Who won?
Pumpkin, I guess.
Oh, Orange! Orange ran with it.
Eat your heart out, Patrick Jordan.
I definitely will. But I tell you what, before I talk to Chris, Dave, I want to show him what Sally Wiggin told us one time many weeks ago.
The head of Rick SEBAK is hung from the top right of the video of Alone Together Pittsburgh. This October is going to be real scary. There's all sorts of dangerous stuff going to go down, so you got to be careful. Look at Rick SEBAK's head removed from his body, floating on a screen as a reminder. Get your pumpkins out.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.
See, I'm just saying that's we got to get back to that. Like you wear your masks, okay? That's here. So Mandy, I'm sorry you dropped on a couple of these, but it happens. You voted for Pumpkin too. I know how it feels, you know. But you're moving on. You might be facing some more icons on the way. But I like your style, Mandy. Okay, so Chris, before I get you to play one more song, I want to tell the people at home we have an overnight poll that is already set because it is in the bracket. This is one of the few left Sweet 16 teams going off. Dave, tell them what it is in the eh25.com. Overnight.
EH25 overnight at the top of the heap. Bodies are falling. They keep falling on the ground. We got heads all over the place. Get out of the screen more, Chris Moore. Anyway, it's a Tesaro's Burger versus the Silence of the Lambs. That's what you got, a Tesaro's Burger versus Silence of the Lambs. This is your overnight vote, Pittsburgh. TogetherPGH.com/vote.
Okay. Two things I'm going to tell you. One, the voting is live. Two, Pete, your gift game is off the charts lately. I don't know if you've got some spare time on your hands. Pete Spinda's gift game is hot, okay? And I didn't realize there was a third thing. That house, Buffalo Bill's house from the movie, is up for sale right now. The house, Buffalo Bill's house, where they shot all those scenes in Silence of the Lambs, is for sale right now. Right on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. Just letting you guys know if you guys want to get into that, turn it into a haunted house, do what you want to do. Buffalo Bill's house up for sale.
It's very, very close to where I grew up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to walk by it all the time and say, "There's Buffalo Bill's house."
I guess you have to, right?
That's about all that works out.
I just wonder. Is there a well in it? You know what I mean?
No, it's just a normal house. They built that for the movie.
I wish. No, but wouldn't that be awesome if Pete wasn't muted? And Pete, you're muted. Sorry. But anyway, he's still muted. But if that was in there, I would buy it just on general principle.
Yeah.
Okay.
What neighborhood is the house in? Is my question.
It's in Glen Willard, which is near Coriopolis. That's probably the closest landmark to it.
Where the airport used to be.
Yeah, where the airport used to be in Moon Township. I grew up in Crescent, right on top of the hill, and then we would walk through the woods down to Glen Willard, and there was Pete, you and I can get on this, there was a hockey court that they would actually, the fire department would spray and freeze, and it was sick. And then you would walk by with somebody who had never been there before and go, "That's the house where Buffalo Bill lived." So that was that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, all right. So before we wrap things up, we got a great show tomorrow night for everybody that's watching. Dave Bracy is going to be back, Natalie Besavenga, and a surprise guest, which I'm still waiting to just get the confirmation for, but you're going to be happy. So that's it right there. Chris Dose, Chris number 2, is going to do another song for us. I don't know how you're going to top the first one because it was right on point with where I've been living lately.
I have a couple final thoughts from me after enduring the entire time.
Please, let's talk.
One being, I was embarrassed to ask this question to Kate directly, but do you think that she got into a life of takeout reviews because her last name is Romane? And it's, like, people made fun of her maybe when she was little, romaine lettuce, and then you get into food later. I don't know. That's
well, let's ask Kate herself. She's like,
she forgot to close the browser.
She forgot to close the browser. We're just eating a sandwich. Okay, Kate. Yeah, you got the romaine name, and you're romaine. You've made the romaine, and it's been good. But did you catch some hell early on before you became?
I've been gunning for this position the whole time. I got into being a chef just so I can get close to being on this podcast.
So Kate is a primo chef in town, and it's a streaming show. It's not exactly a podcast.
No,
Kate,
I'm sorry.
You hurt his feelings. You hurt
my feelings. No, but
on this streaming show. Sorry.
Yeah. So.
Damn, I'm gonna get fired tonight.
You're getting fired from the show we talked you into doing. Like literally, she stumbled into this gig, and has been eating ever since. Like, I can't believe poor Rick is just still here.
Oh,
buddy, he's just smiling. One of the top 50 greatest pitchers. Hey, Mandy, you beat Rick SEBAK. Okay, look. Before Mandy vanquished Frankie Capri and Rick SEBAK. So I'm just saying. Yeah, so she's on a roll. I mean, she's on a collision course for Kurt Angle, I think. There's Sally Wiggin and Kurt Angle. I think Billy Porter's in there too. She's got a tough thing to go. But anyway, Chris, I don't want to keep you all night, but what the hell? And just play a couple songs. Chris Dose is going to play here till midnight, guys. Keep it locked here at Alone Together Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a feeling that your love of food developed based on your last name, and maybe there was an interaction that you had, and you're like, well, fuck you all. I'm just going to be better at making food than all of you, and that. I was scared to say that because my reference to this is, please don't take offense to this. I mean it in no way, but my reference to that is the guy is Dick Buttkiss, because his last name is Buttkiss, and he thought, well, I'm just going to be the best fucking football player that there is. Show him, So,
and they can all.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Actually, I didn't know what romaine lettuce was. I grew up eating only iceberg, so people would make the lettuce head joke to me all the time, and I was like, I had no idea what they were talking about for years.
Now you can name more lettuce variants than all of them, so shove it, people.
Yeah. Good therapy, and I'm okay.
Okay, name 3.
What?
I'm sorry, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I totally can, Chris. I can name so much. I can so many variations of lettuce.
So many lettuces.
Whoa, so many. It's like arugula. Oh shit. It's like anyway. Chris, before we started screwing around, did you have anything serious to say, Chris, to wrap up before we?
I do.
Okay.
So the song I'm gonna play is about the the fact that change is inevitable, and that whether it is Maranie in the streets of Portland documenting historic change in America, or PHATMANDEE knocking the shit out of Rick SEBAK and giving him one. That's what's going on. So this song's about things in the world. Turning my echo off. Here we go.
No, switch it over.
Cool. Song's called Brandenburg Gate. Well, I lost my baby to a foreign war. She was cut down in the gunfire of the Western world. She was living in sin, I was living in a lie. She was caught up in the glimmer of a rich man's eye. I couldn't see her from the other side. This is son, there ain't no glory in your pride. But I will wait at the Brandenburg Gate, at the Brandenburg Gate. I'll wait. I will wait at the Brandenburg Gate, at the Brandenburg Gate. I'll wait. I'll wait. But I lost my baby to a foreign war. She was cut down in the gunfire of the Western world. Searching for salvation in the things you buy. I was finding every reason to give up on life. If you love something and give it away, no, it can't come back unless you're free. I will wait at the Brandenburg Gate, at the Brandenburg Gate. I'll wait. I will wait at the Brandenburg Gate, at the Brandenburg Gate. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait, I'll wait. Somewhere in between, where the East and the West meet, and the 30-year war where I came clean, that's where you'll find me. So I'll wait, I'll wait.
Oh man, that's so good.
All right, let's go to bed. It's time to go to bed.
That was awesome. That was so
Slide
good.
that toggle back.
Swatch it.
Swatch that back.
Watch it.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling me out, Kate. I had to bring back my old
Watch it.
slash language. Well, y'all know what it is. You know when we're back. Thank you all very much. Put on your masks and keep your distance. Remember what Batman told the future Robin.
Why you wearing a mask? Were you going to acid or something like that?
Oh no, it's just they're terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them in the future.
They knew in The Princess Bride that we were going to be wearing masks. They knew. You know who else knew? Batman.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Well, Bane too. He gets it. All right. But let me tell you about Batman.
Forgive me if I don't shake hands.
Because no one's going to be shaking hands in the future. And that's going to be everyone's mantra. But did I ever tell you what Batman had to say at a time?
14 minutes away from 2 hours. Just
I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying. Just give me the Batman clip and I'm going to go to bed. Batman.
Wear a mask.
I'm not afraid to be seen standing up to these guys.
The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about.
Okay, there you go, everybody. Thank you all. Put on your masks. We'll see you later. Give a wave. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Come on.
Put on a fucking mask.
Black Lives Matter.